Good evening. I'm Pedro Hazel Jr.
I'm Steve Ferguson.
Welcome to another edition of Sportslines Plus. Tonight, we'll be discussing the World Series between the Yankees and the Dodgers, a post-mortem for the Mets, and a preview for the Knicks and Nets for the NBA season. If you like what we see, hit the subscribe button, and the internet address is right here. The Dodgers lead the Yankees 2-0 in the World Series between these two teams. Last night in Game 2, the Dodgers beat the Yankees 4-2. Unfortunately for the Dodgers, designated hitter Shohei Ohtani separated his shoulder as he was attempting to steal second base, even though he was thrown out. However, it was said that he will be available for Game 3. We're happy with that.
Yes.
Happy for him.
We don't want to see any players, especially of that caliber, missing in a World Series. And he by far is the best player in the major leagues. And I mean that with all the superstars on both sides. That's the one player you don't want to see out of the playoffs. The World Series.
Yeah, on Friday night, the Dodgers won 6-3 in a walk-off home run by Freddie Freeman of the Dodgers in the 10th inning. The series returns to Yankee Stadium on Monday for games 3, 4, and 5. What an incredible World Series this has been. Steve, what do you think of this World Series so far? We were thinking of Freddie Freeman, Freddie Krueger.
Well, yes.
He's terrorized the Mets enough times. Now he terrorized the Yankees.
He has hit 31 home runs off the Mets in his career. He's practically made his career off the New York Mets.
Almost as bad as Chipper Jones.
Oh, yes. He became the new Chipper Jones in Atlanta for a number of years before the Dodgers got him out of there. But the Dodgers are an incredible team. They really are.
Mm-hmm.
The Mets just lost to them in 6 games. But I'll be honest with you. So far, I would say the New York Mets might have been their toughest competition.
Yes.
Because the Yankees, while they have a good lineup, maybe 1 through 4, 1 through 5, you could say is really equivalent to the Dodgers. But the Dodgers are 1 through 7 or 8. Everybody in that lineup, from Kiki Hernandez to Tommy Edman, can kill you. I'm talking home runs, base hits, stolen bases, whatever you want, the Dodgers can do it.
Yep.
They are relentless. The Mets were known as being relentless, but I would say the Dodgers are even more relentless than the Mets.
Oh, yeah. When Yamamoto left the game in the 7th inning, everybody was getting a standing ovation.
Yamamoto is a guy that, if you remember, both the Mets and Yankees really coveted and really wanted. And you can see why they did.
Mm-hmm.
This is a guy, 25 years old, who can throw 98 miles an hour, who has an incredible curveball, who really knows how to pitch better than almost anybody at that age that I've seen in years.
Mm-hmm.
He is a true ace. And the Dodgers, who were not supposed to have had as good a starting rotation as the Yankees, think again, because the next game, Walker Buehler is pitching. And we remember Walker Buehler before he had the 2 Tommy John surgeries. There, you can argue now, while he doesn't throw as hard, he's 93, 94, used to be more 98, 99.
Mm-hmm.
He has developed a knuckle curve, which is almost unhittable, a slider, a cutter, and a changeup. So the Yankees, you better watch yourselves tomorrow night.
Yeah.
You have to win tomorrow night, or you are done in this World Series.
Unfortunately, yeah. I mean, they've given the Yankees a whole lot for their money. I mean,
yeah.
They're just too good. I mean, they're so good.
They're so good. And that's why I said the Mets.
We had a couple of friends last night.
Mm-hmm.
They were watching the game, Yankee fans, last night. And one of them was saying, man, the Yankees are just too good. And he's a longtime Yankee fan. And he's saying,
what he said,
the Dodgers are too good. I meant to say the Dodgers are too good.
And Yankee fans are just too good, saying that they are the ones that are really good. But I don't think they've ever faced a team like the Dodgers.
No.
This team can beat you, as I said, 1 through 8 in that lineup.
Yeah.
The pitching staff, while it's a little bit of a patchwork with injuries to Clayton Kershaw for one, and other people in that rotation, their bullpen is so good. and they're relentless as an offense. They come after you in waves. Remember the game, and I'll refer to the Mets one more time for this. The Mets had a 10-2 lead last Friday when they played the Dodgers.
Yes.
At Citi Field. And you went to that.
I was at the game.
I was
dynamic atmosphere.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Mets had an electric atmosphere for every game in that series. When the score was 10-2, you would have assumed the game is over.
Oh, yeah.
Fifth, sixth inning. But not with the Dodgers. It became 10-6.
Yeah.
It had Met fans sweating. Because if we had lost that game, we would have been gone in the series.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of team they are.
Yeah.
They just come at you in waves, and you can't breathe when the game is over.
Yeah. You got to keep on scoring and scoring and scoring just to keep ahead of them.
And you always are worried when you fail to score more than 1 or 2 runs because you know the Dodgers can get it just like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And even if you had a lead in the Dodgers, the Yankees had the lead on Friday.
Yes, they did.
And then, they led first, and then the Dodgers just
you make 1 or 2 mistakes to the Dodger lineup, and they will kill you.
Yes.
That's the difference between being a really good team like the Yankees and maybe being a super phenomenal team like the Dodgers.
Yeah.
There's a level. The Mets are closer, in my opinion, to that level right now than the Yankees.
Right.
The Yankees have to prove to people tomorrow that they're at home now and they have to win at least 2 of these games to keep the series going.
Yeah.
If they fail tomorrow night, I'm sorry, Yankee fans, your season is over.
Yeah. Sad to say, the season will be over. And speaking of the Mets, their season ended last Sunday as they lost to the Dodgers 10-5, losing the National League Championship 4-2. The Mets, though, but even with that, the Mets have had one hell of a season.
Yes.
Having the best record in baseball from June 1st, getting through the Braves, Brewers, Phillies, and finally the Dodgers.
Right.
Now, I can't say enough things about the Mets this season. I was there for Game 5. And it was electrifying. I mean, totally electrifying.
Yes.
First time I've gotten this deep into the season, watching an actual game. Well, actually, we were there in 99.
99, yes. 99 was a phenomenal year for the
99 was the Grand Slam single. That was probably the best game I had ever seen up to that point. And I think this surpasses. Friday's game is right up there with the Grand Slam.
The best
Grand
game
Slam
I ever
single.
saw of the Mets was not that game. It was a game that they beat the Braves. You remember the game they were trailing 8-1?
Oh, yes. When they score all of the 10 runs in the Piazza home run.
The most electrifying game I'd ever been to with Mike Piazza. We all remember him with a 3-run homer that was a laser beam out to left field.
Yeah, so that game goes right up with them.
That's right there for me. But with the Mets, they have nothing to be ashamed of. They really had a phenomenal season. They were not expected to be even in the playoffs, according to most fans. And boy,
much less get to the NLCS.
And boy, did they get there and then some.
Man, they worked really hard. I mean, they just fought and fought and fought.
This team, as much as I love the 86 Mets and I love the 99 Mets, the 2000 Mets, for me personally, this Met team might have been the best team we've ever seen.
Wow.
Because
that's a lot.
They were more resilient than any other team the Mets have ever had. They have a great combination of young players and veterans on this team that I think you're going to see the Mets in the postseason a lot more now going forward.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for the offseason because I have been talking to friends like you and my friend Amari and saying, I really believe this next season we could win the whole thing.
Yeah.
If we acquire the right people.
Yes.
And I would say to you right now, if the Yankees are gone by Game 5, Juan Soto will be coming to us.
Hopefully.
End of story. Because for the first time, we have an owner that has more money than the New York Yankees, and he's going to spend it this year.
Yeah.
He's really going to spend it.
At least $85 million is going to be off the books.
Yes. Next to the Scherzer and Verlander deals.
Yeah. And other players as well.
But I am envisioning a team of having, and I'll say right now, Juan Soto, Corbin Burns, who is a terrific major league pitcher.
Oh,
He
yes.
was 15-8 for the Orioles.
Mm-hmm.
Good grief. He comes here with this lineup around him. We're looking possibly at 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this pitcher, this left-hander who's available right now, Tanner Scott from the Padres, another former Oriole.
8th inning pitcher.
He can close. He can pitch the 8th
Mm-hmm.
inning. He throws 100 miles an hour. He's got a filthy slider. And you put him in the bullpen with a healthy Brooks Raley, another left-hander that was hurt this year, coming back from Tommy John surgery. You add that to Edwin Diaz in that bullpen, and you bring me Corbin Burns to be the ace of this staff, and you throw in Juan Soto to help my offense. And more importantly, above all, you find a way to keep Pete Alonso here.
Yeah.
And I think the Mets might be in the World Series next year.
Okay. Burns, you probably have to have him for at least 2-3 years.
Oh, yeah. Burns,
Easily.
I've heard Burns they've been talking to the Orioles and signing him to a 3-year deal. The Mets are going to have to step in and throw the money at him now.
Yeah.
Because we like Kodai Senga. He's definitely an ace when he is healthy.
Yeah.
But the fear I have with him is how often is he going to get injured now?
Yeah.
He's been here less than 2 years. He's only pitched about 6-7 innings this year.
Yeah.
We really
All
need
in
an
the
ace.
postseason. Yeah.
We really need an ace. I want to see them keep Minaya
Oh, yeah.
and Severino. David Peterson has been fantastic. He's really grown up.
Yes, he
and
has.
learned how to pitch. Can you imagine the rotation with Peterson being your number 5 starter,
Mm-hmm.
Corbin Burns being your ace?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. Watch
Oh,
out, Braves.
my
Watch
God.
out, Phillies.
Oh, my God. They've
yes.
got to sign Iglesias.
And yes, he has to be re-signed. We have to re-sign Minaya. I think they have to re-sign Severino.
Yeah.
There are a couple of the guys. I want them to sign J.D. Martinez for another
Oh,
year
yes. They need him.
because he allowed the Mets to really grow up as a team and find their way as an offensive machine, which they really are. But they have to find a way somehow to keep Pete Alonso in this group.
Oh, yeah.
Because Pete Alonso, while he didn't have his best year, he's a homegrown Met. And
Yes.
he wants to stay here. I think the Mets will be willing to give him deferred money if that's what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
But the Mets have the money to sign all of these people.
Yes.
So it is time. The Mets have improved their farm system. You are going to see more of the guys like Luis Angel Acuna. You're going to see the outfielders. You're probably going to see Brandon Sprout, a guy who throws 100 miles an hour at AAA. He'll probably be here next year. So we are about ready to launch into what should be a nice 5-6 year run of being close to, if not at the top.
Uh-huh.
So LGM Mets, it's your turn. Now.
LGM
your
next
time.
year. Okay, the NBA season started earlier this week. The Knicks are 1-1. They lost their first game to the Celtics. Oh, on Tuesday, 132-109, and one Friday, beating up the Pacers 123-98. All that frustration from May.
Yeah, it's a tale of two cities, obviously. The Boston Celtics have owned the New York Knicks for years. And that's the one team I fear that will keep the Knicks from getting a championship ring.
Yeah.
But I really like the effort they put into the Indiana game.
Oh, yes.
That was the team that eliminated
Indiana
the Knicks
games.
last year.
Yeah.
And the help we're getting from Karl Anthony Towns, who not only scored, but played some really good defense against the Pacers. We did not have him last year.
Yeah.
And I think this is a guy who will average 20-odd points a game, who is capable of rebounding and blocking shots. So we're getting a real bonus if he plays defense. And we can't say enough about Jalen Brunson and how good he
Jalen
really
Brunson,
is.
yeah. And now he'll have a little help.
Yes, he has a
around
lot of
him.
help now. He has Mikal Bridges. He has Towns to play with. He's got a very talented group. All they have to do now is figure out how to get to Boston.
Yeah.
Boston is, as much as we hate them, they are an incredible three-point shooting team.
Yeah, too bad we missed DiVincenzo.
Yes, and he was a great three-point shooter for the Knicks.
Yeah. I hope Towns will substitute, and
Towns
the other
can
players
hit
are
the
some.
threes. Yeah, Towns can do a lot of that.
Yeah.
But Towns is a legitimate center. No offense to Robinson, he's a really good defensive player. But right now, Karl Anthony Towns is probably the best center the Knicks have had since Patrick Ewing.
Patrick Ewing. Oh boy, when you compare yourself to Patrick Ewing, you're comparing him to Patrick Ewing.
He has the ability to get 25 a game, and I've seen him do it when he was at Minnesota.
Yeah.
This is a guy, if you can convince him to play defense as well as he scores, then the Knicks are going to have a hell of a good center and a maybe potentially great team.
Yeah. Now they have to get through Boston again.
That's the team that has given the Knicks sheer hell for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And part of it is their three-point shooting, but they played enough defense to give you a hard time.
Oh, yeah.
And they shellacked the Knicks opening night.
Yeah.
And it was an awful game for the Knicks, a massacre.
Yeah.
Boston's very capable of doing that. But when the Knicks play defense, as they did the other night against the Pacers, they can be a juggernaut also.
Yeah.
So we've seen two sides of what the Knicks are.
Mm-hmm.
We have to see how they do through the season. But what Boston did, they did this without Kristaps Porzingis. That's scary.
That is scary.
Because Kristaps Porzingis, former Knick, he has scorched the Knicks over the years.
Why not? Payback, I don't blame him.
Yes, he has paid the Knicks back in spades since we got rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
But he is in the perfect offense for his abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how the Knicks are going to slow them down when they play them again, but the effort will have to be extremely good and really tough defensively if they want to beat that team.
Oh, yeah.
But that is a team that has won 18 championships. They own the NBA. The Knicks are the closest to them of any team in the Eastern Conference, but they were here and they're about at this level.
Yeah.
And we have to find a way to close the gap with them.
Yes, indeed. Now, the Nets are rebuilding this season. They got a new coach, Jordi Fernandez.
Yes, Jordi Fernandez.
Yeah, they're 0-2 right now, and they're hosting the Milwaukee Bucks at the Barclays Center tonight.
I'm sorry to tell you, Net fans, I see another blowout here.
Oh, boy.
Because the Nets, to me, have two players that I've known. One of them is Claxton, their center, who has some potential to be a really good player. And the other one is the guy last name is Thomas. But outside of those two players, I really don't know this team that well.
Yeah.
They did have the player that the Knicks now have, Bridges.
Yeah.
A really good player, Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
But Cam Thomas is now standing alone as the offensive star.
Yeah.
They do have Dennis Schroeder. He'll provide some offense and leadership.
What about Ben Simmons?
Ben Simmons is an interesting player. This is a guy who has had so many injuries, we can't even count them.
Oh, my
But
God.
Ben Simmons is a guy who was Rookie of the Year at one time.
Mm-hmm.
He is capable of rebounding and passing really well. But the thing that I've never liked about his game, he doesn't take many shots.
Mm.
He never takes jump shots. He's almost immune to taking them. And I hate the fact that you have a player of his caliber who cannot take shots. That's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting paid millions of dollars based on what he did his rookie season.
Yeah.
But he has never been a willing shooter.
Mm-hmm.
He's a willing passer and a really good rebounder. He gets in foul trouble a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how much he can contribute. We have to see if this guy can stay healthy for a whole season, number one,
Mm-hmm.
because he's always hurt. And number two, we have to see if his passing and rebounding is going to help them enough to elevate them to another level. Right now, I don't see the Nets having a very good season.
Mm-hmm.
The post-mortem for them does not look good at all.
Okay.
I think in a couple of years, they will be much better.
Yes.
They made a deal with the Knicks, with Mikal Bridges, and we gave them a lot of prospects, 5 of them to be exact.
Right.
So they will get better, but the question is when.
Okay. We got to do this. Congratulations to the New York Liberty for winning the WNBA championship after 27 years. Finally.
Yes.
And I saw the game. Sunday night when I was, watching the video of the watch party.
Watch party. Okay.
And they struggled to win that game. Ooh. The game went into overtime.
Yes.
And Ionescu.
Yeah, Sabrina
Ionescu, she struggled to the whole game.
She had an awful game.
Yeah.
I believe she was 1 for 19 from the floor.
Whoa.
That is about as bad as you'll have for a great player. And the other player she has, Stewart,
Brianna Stewart.
She had an awful game as well. Neither one of them shot well. The center for the Nets, for the Liberty, was the star of the game, John Cole Jones.
Yeah.
She was brilliant. She saved them. Their bench was really good. That Vanderjack player they have, that woman who comes off the bench, very good player. But it's amazing. The stars of that team did not play that well.
Yeah.
But the rest of the team collectively fought.
Yeah.
And they pulled that game out. Congratulations to the Liberty, because it's taken you a long, long time.
Yeah.
Almost 3 decades you've been in the WNBA, and you finally got your first championship.
Yep.
And I'm going to applaud you.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Liberty.
Yes.
Okay, for Steve Ferguson, this is Pedro Hazel Jr. saying so long for another edition of Sportslines Plus. If you like what you see, press the subscribe button, and this is our show's address. For any past shows or this show or any past show, if you want to look at this show or any past show, this is the address.
Right.
Anyway, you have a good weekend, and we'll see you in 2 weekends. See you in 2 weeks.
LZM.